So back to the cold spots being blue and black. I want them to move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs out of this guy. That's what we've caught with it in the past. That's hopefully what we're going to capture with it again. So there's also a blue dot bouncing around the screen showing us the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So it's going to land on glass, can on the ground, a sign that caught wind, the coldest things in there. I want that blue dot to also move and be 15 degrees below ambient temperature. It is 62 degrees, I think, out here, roughly 64. So I'll be looking for things in the 40s. We'll just put it in that bracket. I forgot what temperature we were supposed to be at tonight. I did write it down. But anyway, something
64, 65.
You got it.
I'm a weather nerd.
Fair enough. Well, I have the exact temperature written down in my notebook. I just didn't want to, be that guy.
You just didn't want to be a nerd.
Well, I am the nerd. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'll take not the weather nerd. So with that, the cool thing about this, I also give you the stats of all this equipment so you guys know what to expect, because I'm not a TV show host. I'm not a YouTuber. This camera will capture 4 to 5 pieces per year that I would put my stamp of approval on, not per episode. Are you guys seeing my point? Again, I'm not one of those people that everything's a ghost. So you'll see that real fast. So with this one, I also like to point out, I do about 200 of these group investigations with you guys per year, plus my own. So I'm roughly in the 215 to 220 mark. So that gives you the good enough stats of like how much we're going to actually capture with this. So if we're not recording, we won't capture. So with this,
Oh, because no one's in it. Sorry. I was getting confused. Let me put this shit down. They trying to leave. Oh. It like stopped recording.
Yeah, you can just do it first.
No, it did. It just like stopped recording. Well, now it's going. We're gonna go. You know. You can do the little redness that I'm following. I just don't follow you.
Who are you?
Good thing I carry a lot of batteries for it. It's the only one where we have to keep replacing batteries. Everything else has its own. Wow, you must have really burned it up in the last stop. You're hired back on. That means you're doing a good job. I hear you. Gotta keep it fun. Gotta keep it fun. Kind of a thick crew.
the whole thing. I keep forgetting where the camera is.
But yeah, we're gonna get some shots going up and down the alleyway. So again, otherwise you're just gonna get everybody's legs. Christina on your end mainly. Just because of where you're standing. Have I screwed up a name yet?
You're doing it. I'm impressed.
Well, I wasn't looking for kudos, but I'll take it.
Well, half the time I can't remember my own name, let alone everybody else's.
All right, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. So nothing has shown up yet. I do like the 7.3. Like that's just a weird thing for you to hear, but the number 7 shows up here often, usually in doubles, only because the person we're about to discuss, that's his birthday. He loves to brag about its double 7s. His birthday is July 7th. So again, it's just common. It's not that I'm not impressed by it. I almost expect it at this point. But Philadelphia Alley used to be called something else, which is why we're here. This is Dueler's Alley. Every ghost tour comes down here. I know it looks like I'm lying right now because we're the only ones here, but I was going to take this out of my route, but this guy follows me around, especially with my old route before I got kicked out of that space, where we used to go. I know I get kicked out of a lot.
Why do you keep getting kicked out of places?
They keep rezoning the city, so every time like I come up with this great story, like 6 months later, they're like, nope, you can't go over there anymore. So I'm like, come up with this great stuff, and then I can't do it. But anyway, so this guy just used to follow me literally from here all the way to that location because we would always be a place near raised emotion for him. So the last location of my old route, we would be near his house. So take that for what it is. So Philadelphia Alley is kind of a crazy spot. We're going to get all kinds of stuff that's here. So Brian, I kind of already know about your history of the last time you were here, so we'll kind of see what happens this time. So again, you probably heard the story already. We're just going to talk about it a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire and marshmallow kind of ghost tour. So but we're going to give you something new to play with. Oh, I can't do it because I don't have the extra headphones because we're using 10 people. My bad. My apologies. We were going to use a crazy voice recorder. Regardless, I think we're going to use it anyway, even without the headphones, at least so we can get the recording. This thing can hear a frog fart from a mile away. It's pretty crazy. And because it is so quiet down here tonight, I wasn't going to bring it out unless it was quiet, but I forgot that for 10 people, Jim takes an extra set of headphones that I do carry. So with this, you're just going to point it in different directions because the microphones here can literally, it's directional. So it's going to pick up everything, and I will listen to this full recording when I get back to the office. Normally I have somebody with a set of headphones so you can get the clarity of it in real time. But without those headphones, we're just going to use it in this manner here so that way we can at least get the recording. So again, wherever you point that, it's a little bit of weight to it. So we'll see how that actually works out. This is what we call a live EVP session. You guys will see why we're using that once I get into the story. So let's talk about this duel. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If and while we're here, one of the spirit boxes comes up with the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. Anyway, Doc moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor fella. So he moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. He's going to start his practice here, make his own money. Well, on his way into town, he had a coachman, and the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world. Sorry, sometimes I get a lot of teenagers, and I have to like really dummy things down because they don't understand a term. So if I'm over-explaining things, just let me know. And it is a good reference. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen to the newcomer. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. We used to get the letters RI all the time on regular spirit boxes, like somebody spelling something out. So I bought another device that only gives us letters, like basically a digital Ouija board. We've had the letters because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He got better seats. So one night they go see Richard III, and they're walking home, and they're discussing the new actress they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two of them, and they went their separate ways. But the next day, Ralph went to his friends at the newspaper, and he placed an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thought of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Like really bad Instagram post, right? Against your friends. Sorry, another teenage reference. Moving on. So Doc saw the ad in the paper, and he rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley, somebody's gonna die. So they came down here, and they took their 10 paces away from each other and turned. Doc pointed his gun in the air and shot his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage to show up. That's often what happened at a duel back then, by the way. But I also like to point out that this whole argument started over an actress. I like to just point out how dumb shit was in the 1700s. Like, it really got nasty. But anyway, Ralph still had his one bullet in the middle of this duel, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Yeah, kind of nasty. Doc proved it, or Ralph proved his point. He didn't want to kill his friend either, but he's still pissed and not willing to forgive. Doc didn't die. He fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, and he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. Two things about that last statement that I just said. First off, that date was November 2nd of 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what they are now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. Obviously, he failed because he died. So, if you come down here on a random Saturday afternoon in the middle of the summer, it always sounds like this. It's always this quiet unless there's other tourists down here doing their normal tours. So that's why we're using the crazy voice recorder. We're probably picking up on whatever that screaming and yelling is over there. And it'll probably come through very clear, even though she has that pointed in the opposite direction. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that actually works out. I don't think we've ever done this without headphones before. Again, all the ghost tours will tell you to listen for whistles while you're here. We have 3 cameras running, plus my voice recorder and our Zoom recorder. If we're going to get a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to show up on one of those, what do we got, 5 devices? So take that for what it is. However, when I'm spot checking Stephanie's recording, I cannot tell you how many times I come across the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor. We'll get some of these things from the whistling doctor over at the cemetery as well. But let's talk about how I got kicked out of here. This is the fun part of the story. You ready for this, Jim? So
I can't wait.
Sorry, I had to wait for a chuckle in there somewhere. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there. And the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley before it was Bueller's Alley. So imagine cows, goats, and chickens here. I'm telling you this because they started building this alley down at the end. Those bricks down there are older than the ones you're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child, face up, in one of those bricks, about 14 bricks into the left. And it's very visible. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that brick. You already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid's not there. He's not staring at the brick in the afterlife. He's hanging out with his mom somewhere, right? So I took my group down there on November 26th of 2020, and they all stopped and huddled around the brick, just the same way we're all huddled right here. And I'm trying to shoot them along. I know nothing's going to happen. We're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't know we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So my daughter was on the tour that night. I would like to point that out because she was about 14 years old, and the new owner of that mansion came out screaming his head off at me. And she thought it was hysterical. Like, she was laughing her ass off. Her dad's getting yelled at right in front of her. She was all about it. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on holidays, especially Thanksgiving, because I worked in upper management for Walmart. Before I started doing this, you guys fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You started me for life. Like, I don't do holidays anymore. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that brought me into tourism. I told him what happened. He laughed at me too, and he said, you're not allowed to go down that far. It's residential, and he hung up the phone, which means I'm on my own. I told my group that night, it's Black Friday, I'm sold out again. I tell them I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. I would normally tell you a pirate story next, but we've been kicked out of there too. And by the way, if I tell you we're going to be discussing pirates in Charleston, who do you think we're going to be talking about? Who's the first pirate that comes to mind? And don't tell me Jack Sparrow.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard, thank you. Good job, Wes. Gold star. Sorry, I love that gold star. Who said that originally?
Me.
Good job. Either the equipment, the location, or some of the things that we're doing. I'm always experimenting. So, Jim, how are we doing on that thing? I see kind of like a crazy readout on your K2 meter.
It's pretty, it's loud, directional.
Very directional?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything weird going on with their devices? Anybody listening in? I think Stephanie's the only one listening at this point. Did you get anything while you've been here?
No.
Okay. Any words?
Tears for Fears again? Twice more. Sorry, it's the same lyric. Oh, sorry.
That's funny.
Drag alignment, IE power.
I'm not looking at that. It could be something.
What's going on there?
Anything weird going on, Christina?
I don't know. It looks like a person, but it's also where the lights are.
There's also a lot of foliage in here.
Yeah.
So, with this one, I usually want somebody like walking directly down the center, like a, kind of very proud whistling doctor kind of guy. Like, that's what we caught here before. And somebody like doing a peeker. So they're like just kind of poking their head out every once in a while. Like, we have some things from that on that camera here too.
I'll look out for a proud whistling doctor.
Anything else crazy going on before we leave this space?
I jumped to 4.2 and then went back down to 2.1.
I'll take a 4.2. That's exciting. It's not, again, anything above 2. Or that. Well, the 4.2 could be from the lights. I'm sorry. We are in the alley.
That was the first time it had done
Sorry, I
it,
forgot where I was at for a second. Nothing else crazy going on here? All right. Well, we're gonna go up and around the corner. Cameras, I would say go ahead and stop.
What? What did he say? He said dead quiet. Get it? Dead. That's funny.
kept him now. Drop his phone.
Yeah,
We both
that'd
put,
be bad.
we both drop his phone.
At least, I mean, I got a long wingspan. I can probably, I might be able to get that. I might be able to climb over after one of the legs.
I'll give you a boost.
Yeah, I got boost on.
Anybody got anything for me? Anything goofy going on?
Stayed on live as a whole.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's weird because between your device and Jim's, Jim hasn't heard anything.
Really?
Like he said it's dead quiet. How's it going on that?
No. I just feel like those just don't want to be hanging around me. Do it?
Alright, I think it's probably time to call it on this one. So we're gonna. Cloud smoke is in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna see that ambient, and I put that in there on purpose so you don't fall asleep. You're not gonna look for images in it. You'll see images like the one that showed up, and your focus is right here in case it's blurry, which it probably will be because everybody has different eyesight. All right, Henry.
See a witch and an apple.
Which in it? Henry, you're
It's a
not gonna.
green apple, if that makes a difference.
You're not gonna scare us away, Henry. You're not gonna try to give us like all of the vampires and all of the spooky stuff like you tried to before. We're just trying to be here respectful. Nice big group for you to talk to. Some of these folks know your history, some don't. This is Brian. Henry, where did you meet Katie? Where it all started is not specific enough, Henry. Be specific.
She disappeared quicker.
She lived way longer than him, like she even remarried.
Oh, wow.
Henry, we're gonna wrap it up. Can you at least tell us goodnight?
I can't even tell what this is. It's very interesting.
Those are the best kind.
It's like some psychedelic flashing around of some sort.
Okay. You sure you didn't have a good time before you came to meet us?
I know.
I'm talking about you.
Oh. I might have.
Henry, thanks. That's what, 5 images? That's quite a bit. Henry, one last chance to say goodnight to us. Going once. Going twice. Alright, let's go ahead and get these blindfolds tapped out. Katie, go ahead and peel that thing off.